Today's episode of Ham Radio 2.0 is brought to you by Gifts for Hams. Find their website at www.gifts4hams.com. Get your call sign or club logo engraved on virtually anything you want. Specializing in ham radio-related gift ideas, Gifts for Hams is your one-stop shop for lighted call sign displays, coffee mugs, coasters, drinking glasses, smartphone cases, and so much, much more. Laser engraving and etching to show off your ham radio call sign or club. Shop gifts4hams.com and tell them that Ham Radio 2.0 sent you.
Hi, this is Sean, W9SLN, and you're watching the Ham Radio 2.0 video podcast, available on livefromthehamshack.tv and YouTube.
Okay, that's enough of that. It should be obvious to you what that means if you're a Netflix fan. That sound, I had somebody email me, or actually comment on YouTube earlier this week. It says, "What is wrong with your Heil mic? What is that noise?" It's the air conditioner. Because this is a shack in my backyard. This is not part of my house. This is a shack in the backyard. It's an actual ham shack with computers and items from Gifts for Hams. So, but it's September, tail end of, it's mid-September, but it's August is kind of still here in Texas, and it's hot outside. So during the spring and the winter and the fall, I usually turn that off if I'm recording in here, but in the summer, it's just in the background. There it is. Welcome to Ham Radio 2.0, live from the Ham Shack. My name's Jason. I'm KC5HWB, Hotel Whiskey Bravo. This is episode 112, which is long overdue. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but it did. So, boy, what a heck of a freaking couple of months that's been. Holy cow. I have been running, and I feel like I have not been able to stop and get much done. I took 2 weeks off from the video series because of personal issues, Grapevine Amateur Radio, which I'm going to talk about here in a second. My daytime job, which I'll talk about here in a second also. And just a couple other things that are going on around the house. Hurricane Harvey, if anyone was affected by that, I hope that you fared well through it. Any of my compadres down in the South Texas area between Corpus Christi, Port Aransas, and Houston, all you folks down there that I saw at the South Texas Ham Fest a couple of years ago, I hope all of you came through that well. So, we didn't really get much up here. I had a lot of customers and a lot of viewers email me and ask how I got through how I did through the storm. Some of you guys may not realize how big Texas is. That storm was about 5 hours south of me. So, we didn't get anything up here. Dallas-Fort Worth, we didn't see. There might have been a rain day 1 or 2 times during that storm, but there's been a bunch of other rain days this year also. So, you know, it's very next to nothing up here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So, episode 112. As my friend Gary Pierce is fond of saying, yeah, there's not really any reason to watch this episode. He said that in front of a few of his episodes a few times. This is just going to be me talking. I'm not going to be presenting a radio. I'm not going to be showing you how to do something. I'm not going to be doing a how-to. So this is going to be a State of the Union. State of the Union. State of the Ham Shack. There you go. I didn't mean to hit that. State of the Ham Shack. Right there. On the title. Oh, reach over. Right there. State of the Ham Shack address. for Q3 2017. How's that? So, again, KN4AQ, Gary Pierce of hamradionow.tv. If you don't watch his show, go check it out. He's got a lot of episodes on a lot of different topics. But some of them where he just talks to the microphone, he'll say, yeah, there's no reason to watch this show. So, some of you who have been watching my show since the beginning will stick around and listen to me blab. Others of you that just want radio reviews, check back next week. So, anyway, this sucker right here has been, challenging. Challenging. I'll put it that way. It's been challenging. I'm going to talk about Grapevine Amateur Radio here in a second, but that radio, along with the 2017, which is the handheld radio, both from TYT, both are dual band. Is that? Oh, yeah. Okay. They have been challenging. Because it seemed like TYT kind of rushed the production of each one. This one, of course, has the famous broken antenna connector issue. It's not nearly as widespread as what people on Facebook make it out to be. It is an issue. And a lot of radios have had the issue. Air conditioner shut off. So, but that's been a problem. And there were a couple other problems with it, like you couldn't put, on some of the models, you couldn't put UHF in the bottom band and VHF in the top band. You couldn't mix and match them. All that's been fixed with firmware. You can do contact CSV, load a contacts.csv file into this radio up to 100,000 contacts, and which the DMR Mark database broke 70,000 contacts this week, by the way. So there you go. So it's mid-September 2017, so if anyone watches this video a few months from now, the 70,000 contact mark in the DMR Mark database was just broken a few days ago. Maybe a week ago, something like that. But this radio will hold up to 100,000. That radio down there will do the same thing. The MD9600, a lot of people have complained that there's a pop at the end of when someone's talking and then they unkey, it'll go at the end of a transmission. People think that's a defect. I thought it was a defect at first. I was like, what is that? According to TYT, it's not a defect. They put it there on purpose. And their purpose for that was to simulate a squelch tail at the end of an analog transmission. Whether you're on a repeater or talking simplex, there's a psh when someone unkeys. If you're talking on FM. That's what they wanted, because they're like, well, when you're talking to people on digital, there's no background noise, there's no squelch tail, there's no courtesy tone. How do you know when someone unkeys? You have to look down at the screen. Oh, they're not talking anymore. Sometimes that's true. You get kind of used to listening to it, and not so much anymore, but sometimes that's true. So they put that at the end of it to signify, hey, that person's finished talking. People don't like it. Everyone thinks it's a defect. Again, I thought it was a defect. I thought it was a speaker pop. I thought it was the speaker popping. It's not. They say it's there on purpose. They're going to take it out because everyone's complained about it, but it's not a defect. I've had some customers email me, how come they released this radio? It's not even been tested. It has been tested. It's supposed to be there. Well, that's stupid. Well, that may be stupid, but that's what they did. Okay, so it's not a defect in the radio. It's not a great idea, but it's not a defect. The backlight on the mic, that is a defect, and they're working on fixing that. Some people have reported a low power output. If you watch my video about the unboxing of the MD9600, it does not output the power that's advertised on the box, which is, I think it's 50 watts on VHF. Yeah, 50 on VHF, 45 watts on UHF. It does like 35 on UHF and 40 on VHF. And when I reported that back to TYT, they asked me, can you demonstrate it? Sure, I can. Here's the YouTube video. So that is an issue. I don't think it's affecting all radios. And 40 watts on VHF is not bad. It's not like it's only pushing 10 watts. Okay, but it's not as advertised, obviously. So they're working on that as well. But that's been, my gosh, that's been a headache. So as most of you know, I run a website called GrapevineAmateurRadio.com where I sell amateur radios, accessories, antennas, connectors, blah, blah, blah. Some Kenwood, some ICOM stuff, mostly Chinese stuff. And I'm not doing anything with that. If you're expecting me to say, oh, I'm quitting, I'm not. I'm not quitting. But what I am doing is I'm quitting Hamfests. I went to something like 17 or 18 Hamfests in 2016, and as of August of 2017, I've been to 8, 10, 12, somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly. I didn't go back and count them for 2017, but probably about 10, maybe 11 Hamfests, something like that. And they are fun to do, but they're just not beneficial enough with the travel expenses and the fact that I'm just not a very large vendor with a very huge selection. I've decided that I don't want to do Hamfests anymore for the purpose of selling. I will be attending Hamfests for the purpose of this video series, Ham Radio 2.0. I started Ham Radio 2.0. A lot of you who have been watching me for a long time have heard this before, but earlier this week I broke 7,500 subscribers on YouTube. Still excited about that. That's still going up between 80 and 100 new subscribers every week, roughly. And that's with me not posting a video for the last 2 weeks. So those of you who are new, who haven't heard me say this before, I started, if you go back and watch episode 1, which was in September, October, I think, maybe August of 2014, I put up a video episode about how to program a TYT TH9800 quad band mobile radio. And the reason I did that is because I was selling those on my website, and a lot of people were sending me emails or calling me with the exact same questions over and over again. So I decided to do a video about how to program that radio. I put it up on YouTube, and it went, it got many more hits, much more activity, much more responses than I ever expected it to. And that's what spawned the idea in my head to say, I should do a video series. So it was about 7 months later, 8 months later, something like that, when I put up my first episode of Ham Radio 2.0, which I titled Ham Radio 2.0 Episode 2. And it was a presentation that I did at a local club here in the Fort Worth, Tarrant County area on introduction to DMR. It was actually a presentation that my buddy Kent, WA5YXS, he did, and I helped him with it. So we're both standing up there giving a DMR presentation at a local ham club. I went back and retitled my TH9800 video to Ham Radio 2.0 Episode 1. And on May 2nd of 2015, Ham Radio 2.0 was officially launched. So ever since then, it's been going a lot more episodes. This is episode 112. A lot more activity, a lot more subscribers, a lot more new ideas and directions I never even thought about going originally. And there's a lot more that's coming, too. I got a lot of ideas about new stuff to do that I haven't done yet. So that's how the series started, was kind of like a advertising tool for Grapevine Amateur Radio. And over the course of the last 2 years, what I've noticed is, while I enjoy Grapevine Amateur Radio, I enjoy the video series more. And there's a lot of guys out there selling radios, man. Main Trading Company is a fantastic resource for radio-related anything. Kenwood, ICOM, Yaesu, Alenco, a lot of the Chinese stuff, Comet, Heil microphones and Heil sound. What else? MFJ, of course. A lot of MFJ stuff. Used equipment, trade-ins, coax, everything. MTCradio.com. If somebody calls me for something that I don't have in stock, that's usually where I'll send them. I send them over to Richard. Say, call Richard, call Tammy, call the store, tell them that Jason at Ham Radio 2.0 sent you, and see what kind of deal they can make for you. There, you can see that a little bit better now. So, but selling radios at Hamfest is fun. I just figured out that if the Hamfest is large enough to have a big name there, like Main Trading Company, Associated Radio, Gigaparts. Gigaparts doesn't come out here much, but they're back east. HRO. If it's a big enough Hamfest to have one of those guys there, air conditioner, I don't do so well. I don't sell a lot of stuff because I don't have the inventory they do. If it's a Hamfest too small to have those guys, then sometimes I'll do pretty well. But really, the cost benefit is not there. The cost to benefit ratio is not there. So I'm not going to shut down the website, but I am going to focus more of my attention on the video series. I would like to interview some of the other retailers. I went up and talked to the guys at HRO a couple weeks ago in Plano, and I'd actually never been into that store. The store's been there for a year and a half. I've never been in there before. I went in there for the first time last month in August. And really nice guys in there. Met them at Dayton last year. Actually met them at the airport at Dayton. I had this in my hand. I was sitting at a restaurant at DFW Airport waiting on my flight, and the guy next to me looks over and he's like, "Is that one of those DMR radios?" And I looked at him and I was like, "You actually know what DMR is?" And then I saw the HRO tag on his shirt. I'm like, "Oh, yeah." So we talked for a few minutes. Cool guys, both of them. So I might do something with them. But the video series is where I want to go. I've got some really cool sponsors of this video series. The main one, obviously, is Gifts for Hams. Go to gifts, 4hams.com. Kelly Laserworks is another one of their URLs. Hamplaques.com is what's on the back of this. Plaques like Plaques. Hamplaques.com. One of their sites also. They've sponsored me for the last, gosh, I think about a year now. Really, really nice folks out there at Gifts for Hams. Saw them at Dayton, saw them in Orlando this year. Really cool people. They do fantastic work. They're very responsive, great customer service, and I highly recommend. If you need anything like a lighted sign or a name tag that's made of wood, instead of all the, everybody's making the plastic ones, and those look great also, but they actually make wooden engraved name tags, and those are a little bit unique because most people don't make that style. So go to giftsforhams.com, tell them I sent you over there. One of my new sponsors is Arden, the Amateur Radio Emergency Data Network. They make all the firmware to go on the Ubiquity nodes and the TP-Link nodes so that we can set up our Arden mesh networking. You're going to see some more episodes on that upcoming. Arden is a very cool tool for amateur radio today. MFJ. MFJ is one of my sponsors. They sponsor me with free gear to review on the show. So not everyone sponsors me monetarily. And that's okay. That's great, actually. Because I get to play with some new toys, use them on my show, and have fun with them. And keep them later on for my own personal use. So MFJ is good. Bob at RFinder. RFinder, the Worldwide Repeater Data Network. Worldwide Repeater Network. RFinder's a kind of a sponsor of my show. He's helped me out kind of here and there. He's not a regular time sponsor. But after I put an episode or two up about his device and he started selling more of them, he's like, maybe I ought to be friends with this dude. So we've hung out together. We hung out together at Dayton this year, 2017. He came to HamCom in Texas. I invited him. I was like, you should come down here. He's like, okay. And he told me afterwards, man, I had a great show. He'll be back next year. We'll see him at HamCom in 2018. Texas HamCom, North Texas in Irving. The West Gulf ARRL Division Convention. Very cool stuff. So I'm still looking for visitor intros. You have seen on some of my videos. I try to put one up every time. The intro kind of gets long with my intro and then my sponsor ad and then maybe a visitor intro, and it ends up being like a whole minute. some YouTube gurus will tell you that's too long. You need to have like a 15-second, 20-second intro at the most and be done. Yeah, I can see that, I guess. But I've always done it this way, and my show is growing, and I get a lot of good feedback, so why quit now? So if you're interested in being in the front of one of my videos, and I'll use the video over and over again, send me a video and just introduce yourself. Say, hi, my name is Jason. I'm KC5HWB from Grapevine, Texas. Of course, use your name, call sign, and location. And just say, and you are watching the Ham Radio 2.0 video podcast available at livefromthehamshack.tv and YouTube. Short and sweet, and that's it. You can do it in your ham shack. You can do it out in the field and do it wherever you want to. So, always looking for more of those. I had one guy email me one time. He's like, can anyone send you one of those, or are you just asking specific people who are famous? Famous. I don't know anyone who's famous. So, I was like, no, everybody can do that. If you're an amateur radio operator, send me a video. I'll use it. So, but that's cool. So, some upcoming episodes in the next couple of months, which you're going to see on the show. I'm going to finally review the Connect System CS800D. I've got one. I think it's in the house. It's not out. It's not out here. This radio could have been much, much more popular than it is if they had done a full production run up front instead of just a small handful here and a small handful there. I think they're getting to the point where they're going to start releasing them on a more wider basis. But as of yet, they're he did like 40 of them, and they all pre-sold. And then he did like 100 of them, and they all pre-sold. And I think I got one of those 100. And now I think he's got some more coming in at the end. They might be in by now. I don't remember the exact date. I got mine, so I was like, whatever. But that radio is sitting in the house. I'm going to be reviewing it. The Bridgecom Dual Band HT. I think it's called a 270 is the model number. It's like BC 270R or M or something like that. I don't know. It's in the house also. I'm going to be doing a review of that radio. Bridgecom was one of my original sponsors of the show. They haven't sponsored me in a while, but they're really cool guys. I was at their booth at Dayton this year. Tim, and Tim's the guy I talked to mostly. Gosh, I can't remember the other dude's name. Ron. Sorry, Ron. If you watch the show, sorry. Yeah, Tim and Ron. Tim's the guy I trade emails with all the time. He and I are craft beer lovers, so we send emails to each other about, hey, I tried this new beer tonight. Cool. So, really cool to hang out with them at Dayton this year. But they sent me a radio they want me to review. I will be giving that radio away to one of you viewers on this show. I set up a mobile all-star node. It's actually kind of portable more than mobile. I set it up in the house, and I set it up in the car, and then I move it back and forth. All-Star is like Echolink squared. It's more robust. It's easier to connect. It sounds a whole lot better than Echolink. I like Echolink, but All-Star is a little bit different. And we didn't have any All-Star repeaters out here in the DFW area for the longest time, but you're starting to see some now. So I'm going to do an episode on how to set up an All-Star node. I'm going to set up a 220 node here at the house. That's going to be a hub node that you can connect to if you have an All-Star node. And I'm going to set up a portable 220 All-Star node in my vehicle. In about 2 weeks from the airing of this episode, MFJ is going to celebrate their 45th anniversary at their facility in Mississippi. I am going to attend that event and record video. At least that's my plan right now. 90% sure that's still on track. I got to email the guys out there and make sure everything's still in the works. So that's going to be a cool episode upcoming. The weekend after that is the Belton Ham Fest. I'll be there on Friday, probably Friday only this year, hanging out in the parking lot, chilling out with the guys who do the barbecue, and some of the vendors out there. I think Main Trading Company will be there in the parking lot. I'll be flying my drone around the parking lot like I did last year. That was cool. The weekend after that is a Main Trading Company event in Paris, Texas, which I also recorded last year. I'm going back to. I'm going to set up a table to do interviews of, get Richard on interview, hopefully, and then several other people that just kind of walk by him and get them on interview also. So those are a few episodes that are upcoming. You're going to see some more Ubiquity stuff, or Ubiquity. You're going to see some more Arden stuff with Ubiquity nodes. I'm going to set up a tunneling server from my house in Galveston that tunnels back here into an air router that I have here, and I'm going to set up and put in the shack, and then hook it to the network that's up on the house, and then I'm going to have an IP cam in Galveston looking at the ocean. Actually, I'd like one where you can control it and kind of turn it, so I got to look into that, seeing how to do that. Probably going to be building a completely portable Arden mesh node, battery, radio, PoE for Ethernet, and like a panel antenna, the nano station that's all the built-in unit, and then so I can set it out and with a solar panel charger, so I can set it out in the field somewhere and leave it for like a week and a half or a month, and just let it run on its own power, battery, solar charger, etc., etc. Solar chargers, that's another episode I've been working on. DIYsolarforyou.com. They make do-it-yourself solar controller kits. Got one of those kits. Well, I bought it pre-assembled, but I bought one from them at Dayton 2017, and I've got it. It's actually in the house right now, and I have plans to, and I have a solar panel for the shack, and I have a 170 amp hour battery right there that I want to eventually run everything to. I had everything running on it for a while, and then I changed some stuff up. I haven't put it all back together yet, but I'm going to do the solar controller here, solar panel up there, run it to the battery. That's going to be an episode. Fun stuff. I love solar stuff, standalone, off the grid, that kind of thing. Going to do that with the mesh node. Going to do that with the Hamshack. We're going to do some on-the-road videos with my pilot car, which is what I've been doing for my daytime job here recently. I'll talk more about that later. But that's some stuff that's upcoming on Ham Radio 2.0. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Go hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at hamradio2.dot0. hamradio2.dot0. And follow me there. Find me on Facebook. Go to livefromthehamshack.tv, which is my website. You can find links to all that stuff there for social media, links to my email subscriber list, links to Patreon to support me if you like, and some new t-shirt ideas I have upcoming are going to be posted there too. This hat will be also. So 73 guys, thank you very much for watching. Thanks for making this show great, and we'll see you next week.
This has been Ham Radio 2.0, a YouTube production by KC5HWB. Visit our website at www.livefromthehamshack.tv. Please also stop by our Facebook page at fb.me/hamradio2. Be sure and subscribe here on YouTube to keep up with all the new videos that are posted nearly every Monday. 73s everyone, and thanks for watching.